The world stood on the precipice of change. World War II, a conflict of unprecedented scale and brutality, had ravaged nations and reshaped the geopolitical landscape. Yet even as the Allied forces closed in on victory in Europe, a new and terrifying chapter was about to unfold in the Pacific. This chapter would be written in fire and ash, forever scarring the human psyche and ushering in the era of nuclear weapons. On August 6, 1945, a blinding flash illuminated the sky over Hiroshima, Japan. The world had never witnessed such destructive power. Within seconds, a city of 350,000 souls was reduced to rubble. Its inhabitants either vaporized or left to grapple with horrific injuries and the insidious, lingering effects of radiation poisoning. 3 days later, another bomb fell, this time on the port city of Nagasaki. Again, the devastation was immediate and absolute. Thousands perished in the searing heat and shockwave, their bodies left as charred silhouettes against the burning ruins. These two bombings, horrific in their scale and indiscriminate in their destruction, forced Japan's unconditional surrender and brought World War II to a close. However, the victory came at a terrible cost. The world had entered the atomic age, forever marked by the specter of nuclear annihilation. This essay delves into the events leading up to the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We will examine the factors that led to the development of the atomic bomb, the motivations behind its use, and the devastating consequences that continue to reverberate today. Finally, we will grapple with the ethical dilemmas posed by these unprecedented acts of warfare and explore their lasting impact on international relations, scientific progress, and the very conscience of humanity.
The story of the atomic bomb begins not on a battlefield, but in the laboratories of brilliant scientists. The discovery of nuclear fission in the late 1930s, a process by which the nucleus of an atom could be split, releasing tremendous energy, sent shock waves through the scientific community. With the outbreak of World War II, this discovery took on a chilling urgency. The potential for creating a weapon of unimaginable power was undeniable, and the fear that Nazi Germany might be the first to harness this force drove the United States to embark on a top-secret scientific endeavor, codenamed the Manhattan Project. Under the leadership of physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the Manhattan Project assembled the most brilliant minds in physics, chemistry, and engineering. From Los Alamos, New Mexico to Oak Ridge, Tennessee, these scientists worked tirelessly, racing against time to unlock the secrets of the atom. The challenges were immense, the moral implications heavy, but the scientists pressed on, driven by the belief that their work, however terrible, was necessary to defeat fascism and preserve freedom. On July 16, 1945, the culmination of their efforts was unveiled in the desolate landscape of the New Mexico desert. The Trinity test, as it was known, was a terrifying spectacle. A blinding flash, a deafening roar, and a mushroom cloud that stretched miles into the sky announced the arrival of the atomic age. The world would never be the same.
To understand the decision to use the atomic bomb, one must understand the context of Japan's role in World War II. Driven by militaristic nationalism and a desire for imperial expansion, Japan embarked on a campaign of conquest across Asia and the Pacific. Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931 marked the beginning of its aggression. By 1941, Japan had conquered vast swaths of territory, brutalizing local populations and committing atrocities that shocked the world. The attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, a surprise attack that plunged the United States into World War II, solidified Japan's image as an aggressor nation. The Pacific War was characterized by brutal island battles and a fanatical resistance by Japanese soldiers, often fueled by a code of honor that viewed surrender as unthinkable. As the war dragged on, American casualties mounted, and the prospect of a bloody invasion of the Japanese mainland loomed large. By the summer of 1945, Japan was on the verge of defeat. Its navy lay in ruins, its cities were firebombed, and its people faced starvation. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds, Japan's military leaders refused to surrender. They clung to a belief in a final, decisive battle on Japanese soil, one in which they hoped to inflict such heavy casualties on the invading forces that the Allies would be forced to negotiate a peace on more favorable terms. President Harry S. Truman and his advisors faced an agonizing dilemma. The invasion of Japan, Operation Downfall as it was known, was estimated to cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives, both American and Japanese. The atomic bomb, recently tested and deemed operational, presented a terrifying alternative. The decision to use the atomic bomb remains one of the most controversial in human history. Proponents argued that it was a necessary evil, a means to shock Japan into surrender and avoid a costly invasion. They believed that the bomb, however terrible, would ultimately save lives. Opponents argued that the use of such a weapon was morally reprehensible, an act of terror that indiscriminately targeted civilians. They questioned the necessity of the bombings, pointing to Japan's weakened state and the potential for alternative paths to peace.
On August 6, 1945, the B-29 bomber, Enola Gay, piloted by Colonel Paul Tibbets, took off from Tinian Island, its belly heavy with the uranium bomb nicknamed Little Boy. The target, Hiroshima, a major industrial center and military port. At 8:15 a.m. local time, Little Boy detonated over the city. The explosion, equivalent to 15,000 tons of TNT, unleashed a wave of unimaginable destruction. Temperatures at ground zero reached millions of degrees Celsius, vaporizing everything in their path. Buildings crumbled, trees ignited, and the very air itself became superheated, incinerating those caught in the open. The human toll was catastrophic. An estimated 80,000 people were killed instantly, their bodies turned to ash in the blink of an eye. Thousands more would die in the days and weeks that followed, from burns, radiation sickness, and injuries sustained in the blast. Those who survived, known as hibakusha, faced a lifetime of physical and psychological scars. The world struggled to comprehend the scale of the destruction and the implications of this terrifying new weapon.